Hey there, it's 4:44 p.m. on Monday afternoon, and it is February 24th, and I usually get home on after 5, but I was let go by my employer today, which this was going to happen, right? But let me explain what happened. Okay, I think the last time we left off is I was making a video and I was addressing my boss in the video, and I was requesting that the time cards be in order. Now, this morning they ended up coming through the cell phone, like I said, I didn't want. Okay, so if he was watching my videos, which I suspect that he was, okay, but anyway, if he was watching my videos, he was probably doing this for a reason, because a lot of times narcissistic people always want to be the one who wins, right? So I was just like, okay, whatever. So I saw the time cards collecting in the cell phone. I figured I'll just wait till he sends them all before I have to what do you call it, read them. I don't like reading them from the cell phone because I just don't. But anyway, I was thinking throughout the day, last night when I was sleeping. I woke up a couple of times in the middle of the night, and I kept thinking. Well, actually, the first time this thought came through my mind, it was when I first realized that I was trafficked in the same spot where the original perpetrator was doing this, right? The harassment. And the morale goes down. Okay, so I'm somebody who has to be very self-driven because I need activity during the day. I need mind stimulation. It's important for me to keep my mind active. So that's what I enjoy about work, really. It's just those little tasks, right? I know when my dad retired, it was like he would literally hover over the kitchen sink waiting for a dish to like wash because he needed something to do, right? So obviously I need to make a living as well. So I also like being busy. You know how it is when you're used to working. It is what it is. So anyway, I got this. He sends me this message and he's like, "Oh, can you call me, please?" And I was like, "Okay." And so I ended up calling him. Right? It was some sort of issue over the permit, one of our permits. Like, so we started talking, and he said, "Well, he sounded like he wanted to come into the office. He wanted to come into the office and show me some more how to process payroll." And this is when I said, I got really uncomfortable. Like I kept thinking, okay, because if this guy's my perp, okay, he's watched my videos, he knows he's already watched this, he already had the instructions. I don't want to deal with him. So I just said, is that okay? I don't know what exactly I said and how I worded it because, you don't remember all the things, but I said it as nice as I possibly could. And so I said, I don't really feel comfortable working with you. And then he's like, "Well, why? Why?" And I said, "Well, the last week or so, you touched me." And I said, "I don't want to see it kind of like I'm accusing you of anything because I don't." Okay. It was not a sexual touch in any way. It wasn't like a smoothing touch, but it was like, just like this touch. And he did it before. Like he did it before when I first started there. And it's, over time, you know, um, I don't like people touching me anyway. Okay. Especially after everything that I've went through. It's like no one touches me. I would prefer them not, unless of course I initiate that. I would prefer people not to just come up and touch me, right? And it's no, I'm not trying to be offensive. It's just like, there's some people, like I knew this one lady, she was very, very sensitive. She went through all kinds of verbal abuse, okay? So if you said certain things, like her name was Lisa, right? But if you called her another name, she would get upset because something about being teased when she was younger or whatever sent a trigger off to her, right? So it was you're very careful not to make fun of her name in any way, mispronounce it or whatever. So it sent off a trigger. Now, I would say people touching me sent off a trigger, and also I believe sent off an intuitive message, knowing the whole issue of what happened with the whole targeting thing, and the fact that there was, the whole backdrop and the whole bullying thing. And I will say, that I cannot say that there has been any problems with any employees or anything like that. Okay, it's just that I have come to the full awareness of this is the person who caused all of this. Okay, this is the person who made it so that I ended up finding out all the things, brainwashed my family, the religious persecution that went on, and everything. I will tell you that it's extremely traumatizing. Okay, now if let's just say, for example, every single employer was like professional. Every single employer was aware of really, I mean, truly and really aware of sexual harassment, what it really was and what it meant. Okay, the science of it. A lot of people have an image of their mind of what things are. Okay. And when it's not saying that those things are not included in what those things are described or what they're called, okay, but they are only thinking that it means this. For example, like when we were talking in many videos about human trafficking, a lot of people, when you talk about human trafficking, what they conjure up in their mind is a bunch of people piled into the back of a truck, right, being hauled from one destination to another, okay, being unloaded, possibly kept in a room, being guarded, and being like caged in and whatever. That kind of human trafficking happens too. Okay, that kind of rough type of like human trafficking does happen, but most human trafficking happens in plain sight. Okay, it literally happens in plain sight, and it starts with somebody being the main perpetrator and spreading like rumors, the campaign, and then isolating the target, meaning like putting them in a situation where they're reliant on a particular network. They are, you get shadow banned, you get like boxed in and isolated and prevented from having anything. So everybody knows that this was what my whole entire channel was about, right? But see, and I was talking about this the entire time. I talked about, I'm still looking for that video, okay? And I personally think the video might be under a different title. It was about the one about forced marriages. Now, I did find one that was called "Forced Marriages is Human Trafficking," or is still human trafficking. And what it was me talking about the situation with, me being married at one time, and then my family's, arranging my job. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with families arranging your job, but arranging for a job to get married or to keep you married, or one of these sort of manipulative things, this is where we're talking about, and it becomes a legal issue, right? So a lot of people conjure up in their mind this one definition of what, like, for example, sexual harassment is. Okay, they think that if a man isn't if that sexual harassment may only be, like, for example, if a man has you backed up into a corner and he's like really trying, like taking your clothes off and stuff. No, sexual harassment could be anything that causes a person to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Unwanted attention. Okay, and that includes, like, touching. It includes comments. Anything that can make you uncomfortable. Like, let's just say, for example, he was with a group of people. I'm not going to say my boss, okay, because that those issues never happened, okay. But let's just say, for example, there's a person, okay, and she has a male boss, okay, and her male boss is going around talking to the subordinates. Let's just say she's a beautiful redhead, okay, and he's constantly talking about this redhead and what he wants to do to her and everything else. Okay, he's talking to a subordinate about this woman, right? And this subordinate now sees this woman as a certain way because the manager, the person in charge, gave this person basically instructions on seeing, how to see this woman, how to treat this woman, objectify this woman, blah, 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 right? And so now there's rumors and there's gossip, and then now we have sexual harassment. Just like in my case, some people didn't think that the issue was serious at all because, the fact that, they think, oh, well, Maria, she dresses nice, so therefore she deserves sexual harassment. No, it does not. Okay, everybody knows you're supposed to dress nice. Everybody knows you're supposed to take care of yourself. The point is that I had what I believe he was a part of this religious cult that was trying to groom me into a lifestyle. Now, I will tell you, I have not received any bullying for anything like that. What this whole issue is that, is that at this point, if I was working within a professional network, okay, I would have never ended up working for Rex Laverne. Okay, because the main goal of somebody who has dealt with human trafficking is to get them away from the perpetrator. So this morning when I got to work, after having this rough night, thinking about these kind of things, right, I kept thinking, as I was doing my task, because, I have these like repeated tasks, right? And then I kept thinking I need to really make some calls, because, even though people don't necessarily tell me what to do, I understand. I understand the systematic thing that needs to be done. Like, I have calls I need to follow up on, and people were calling about their bill, wanting to pay their bills. So it's those sort of things. So, you go through your daily task and you don't really feel as excited about it when you have this sort of realization. You're like, okay, I really do like my little office space. I did. I really liked it. It was cute. I had my little pictures and stuff, and it was nice. Okay. But the thing is that, and I understand it was I'm going to call the job compensation. Okay. The job was to say, well, this is what I'm going to go ahead and put you in. But I do know that there was an interest in my projects or whatever, and it was a form of manipulation. Okay. I believe it was a lure there. Okay. As well as a form of compensation. But I do believe that he had some sort of communication with a lot of people. And, and he had his reasons. And I understand, like, in the world of business, people usually do have some sort of alternative motive. Like, whether they're, hiring you for something or whatever, a lot of times it has something to do with political things. And sometimes it's just outright, abuse. But, and I will say that, I didn't receive any negative comments when I worked there. I did not receive any sort of abuse from any of the employees there. It was just me coming to the realization of what this was, who this person is or was or whatever. And it kind of disturbed me. Okay. It really disturbed me, but I was pushing myself through it, and it did provide a little healing. It does. It really does. And I have to say that I am relieved that I won't be going back there tomorrow. Okay. I was thinking that, really, he really should have fired me. He really shouldn't have. And I do know that when he got angry, when I said that I wasn't comfortable, I wish somewhere out there, okay, I'm sure there's some sort of recording of the conversation that he and I had, because I don't remember it word from word, but I do remember him kind of raising his voice when I was telling him that that I was a victim of human trafficking, because I did bring that up. And the minute I brought that up, I think that's when he got really upset, because I knew that, you're pressing, I didn't mean to press buttons. It's just that, one part of the conversation leads to another. It's like, he's like, well, how come you don't feel comfortable with me? And I said, well, you touch me. And I did explain to him that he did not touch me in a way that made me feel that way. It's just that any touch that I would have from this person that caused me all that pain, okay, is going to make me sick. Okay, because all I was thinking about, like last said, the reason why I was getting up and over again, I was thinking about the issue that I just recently brought up, and the issue that, my family had this negative view of me, and then I had to deal with all kinds of ostracism and all kinds of psychological pain and all kinds of, frustration in the workplace, and people having a sense of entitlement and, trying to bully me, and just, it was a nightmare for a very, very long time. And so, I had made those videos. Now, when I made those videos, like, for example, the one about, the one that I shared with you guys, it was in the description box. I'm trying to remember the name of the video. Oh, yeah, Stalking in the Workplace. Stalking in the Workplace. That was made 4 years ago. Now, the video that I was talking about, the forced marriages, the one that I was kind of disappointed with that one, okay? But there was one that was talking about human trafficking and forced marriages and the legalities of it and whatever. But you would think that most people would know that in order to get married, to be considered married, you have to have a marriage license. You have to have a marriage license, okay? And this is what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be offensive in any way. There's a lot of decent people that I've met, in Bakersfield, but there's a lot of people who don't understand certain things. Okay, they don't understand the difference between like a business and a marriage. And a lot of people do have their family businesses, okay? But you can't just, the world is not like, it doesn't run like a caveman system. Okay, you can't just say, I want that girl, and I'm going to grab her up, and I'm going to hire her, and I'm going to, keep her, and I'm going to block her from doing the things that she wants to do, and I'm going to claim that she's married to me or whatever. Or I'm going to get married her or whatever, and prevent her from doing the things that she needs to do. I have a right to pursue my life. So for years, my life has been playing this game of toss up and go to this employer and be bullied by the same group of people. And when I found out that I was in this place, right? And I will tell you, it did relieve me, because I kept thinking there was an answer. There was a reason why. There was a reason why, and there's a source of where it came from. Because you know what? It bothered me to make me think that, someone like King Charles was out to get me. Because really, even though I can't say when I was younger, I've never like actively watched, the royal family or anything like that. But I've always, I used to wonder, like, what would you kind of like to talk to, the queen or whatever. I had those little thoughts, okay? They used to cross my mind. I didn't want to think that. But see, I thought that that's what was the case. Like, okay, I had thought all these people, the important people, okay, were involved in my, targeting. And of course, okay, it is completely natural to be freaked out knowing that you're going to be dealing with. See, the thing is that there was someone influencing that. The thing is there was someone influencing that. And this is what I'm saying is that, Masonic people or any sort of organization that is supposed to stand out. The reason why people don't join the Masonic temples and stuff, okay? And nobody said this, okay? But I have read a lot of negative things about Mason people, okay? And the reason why is because a lot of infiltration of people's personal agendas get creeped in among these Freemasonic people, because a particular individual wants something. They want to maybe advance themselves or whatever, or maybe they want to block someone, such as they wanted to block me. So all of a sudden, Maria's a bad person. She's this, she's that, blah 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 blah. And I'm somehow going to be in seen in a bad light. I think this is all when this all came down, like when I was over at Murray Family Farms and stuff, and everybody was against me, and I didn't even know what was going on. And so now I find out this whole thing, and I'm just like, wow. It's crazy. It is literally crazy. I mean, this is a very odd story to begin with, okay? But going back to me now, how things are going to be for me right now. Right now, I do need a job. Okay, that's the reality of it, okay? And once again, this narcissistic person, but I do believe he did it to save face, okay? And then he did also bring his wife. Now, do I believe that he's all legit with his wife? That's none of my fucking business, okay? But I do believe he brought his wife as some sort of protection, and I'm glad that he did. Okay, so when they both walked into the door, I saw her heading towards the bathroom, and I kind of walked closer to her because I didn't want to be near him. I figured he was like lingering out in the hallway towards the exit door. So, it was just awkward, right? It was just awkward. So I just gave him the key and I left. By the way, I'm sure that moron is watching this show, this video. Everything is in order. I do believe there's the money that's in the cash in hand account is in the drawer. Okay. Because there's no real formalities there for him to like sign it out. So there it is. Okay. I would never touch anything. So anyway, that's my day. And so right now I feel more relaxed not having to be in that environment, even though, like I said, I make the best of my environment. And I will say that I did like it. I did like working there. I did like my little space. Okay. But it was a little hard treading up that hill today, trying to get myself out of this thought of, damn, this dude's really like that. This dude really caused me this problem. You know what I mean? And it is, okay? So realistically, that was a bad setup. It was a very bad setup. I know it was supposed to be some sort of compensation, but when you really think about it, and see, they don't think about it. See, this is why when I make these videos to educate the network. Okay, whatever that network was. I was hoping my family was going to see it. I was hoping the people that were associated with my school were going to see it. So that if these people were in a network, I wanted to let them know what they were doing. Right? But see, this man who orchestrated this, who brainwashed my family, brainwashed these so-called friends and everything, this man was manning everything. He was controlling the whole shebang. Okay? And so, that left me in a situation where I'm just like, oh my God. And this happens because people keep things in a covert nature. See, things should not be in a covert nature. They really shouldn't. You know what I mean? I think people wanted to keep it hidden from me that I was actually connected to these celebrity people. I'm not supposed to know about it. And I do understand it has a lot to do with this whole apparition thing. Now, I do remember having a discussion with another person. I believe she worked in human resources, and we were talking about surveillance. Okay, now see, I am not somebody who cares about surveillance. I'm more of somebody who cares about human rights. But when you think about it, it does have a lot to do with that. So I just remember having a discussion. She said they're not even supposed to do that, and we were talking about surveillance in general. Oh, I knew I remember where this happened. This happened over when I was working at DT Trucking. Okay. But see, I understand. Okay. Now, especially if we have people like, the big guys in here, like we got, elites sitting here watching me, because I'm a supernatural phenomenon. How could I expect somebody not to want to see that? Right? I don't want to see it myself. You know what I mean? But see, I wasn't even aware of it. And see, that's where the exploitation is. It's where, okay, we're going to sit here and film Maria and she gets all of this and all this weird, looks and stuff like that, and all this other stuff's going on, but no one's going to tell her. See, and that's where it's not fair. So now, I mean, and I understand people, it's very hard to look away from something that's that bizarre, right? There was another story that's very similar about somebody in Paris many years ago. I think it was like the 1800s. She was like a school teacher, and she had a spiritual doppelganger that would actually be visible. Now, I think there's things that get picked up on camera sometimes, that you can't see with your regular eye, but you can pick them up on camera. And apparently, yeah, I did get the intuitive message early this morning, though, that when I was dead, this sounds so crazy, right? This on when I was not cloned. Okay, when I wasn't a clone, I was I visited my father. See, and I don't recall that, specifically, but I did get that intuitive message. But anyway, my life right now is I'm going to unwind. I need to unwind from all this, and I need to find something. I need to work, and I need to find something that is. Here's the thing. I liked working there because it was quiet. I really liked it. Okay. And the people that did come in, it was pleasant. Like the dude that would come in, like the little tech dudes would come in and sign out the cash or bring cash or bring in their checks or whatever. It was cool there. You know what I mean? It's just that light little flow of the office was fine. Okay. And I do kind of like being off to myself and doing my little thing, and working on my little assignments and whatever. And I like it that way. I like it peaceful. I think when I was younger, I liked it really, 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 really busy. I do love it busy, though. I do like busy. Busy is good because, I feel as though this is what this indicates, business. This indicates money. So when you think about bringing in money, it doesn't seem like such a burden now, does it? But anyway, today I'm just going to kind of unwind and, I can't say that I'm upset. I'm not upset, but I do know that I need to work. You know what I mean? But the rest of this week, I think I'm just going to take it off. Meaning, like, I'm not going to sit here and look for work or whatever. And at this point right now, I have been thinking about, sometimes I do think about Lancaster. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do. And, these people have got me to the point where I don't have a vehicle of my own, and I sometimes try to figure out how can I, it'd be nice to, if I have the opportunity to move back to Lancaster. I haven't been to Lancaster in a long time to where I can explore it. You know what I mean? I don't know what's out there. The last time I went out there, it was a little bit after 2020. And I only went there, I pretty much went straight to my mom's house, I think it was, or something like that. It was a reason why I went, you went to my mom's house, and that's when we had our argument, and that's when, and see, this is what pisses me off. Okay, that all of this trauma is the fault of this man. Okay, and I'm supposed to, and somebody who's psychic is supposed to be sitting back and going back to this person. Like, I wasn't ever supposed to find out that he was the one. See, that was unprofessional and a bad move on them, especially when we're talking about trauma. And see, what I'm talking about is trauma is what people don't understand. Okay, how can I describe it to you? It's almost like, let's just say, for example, you were 5 years old and somebody hacked your beautiful grandma that you loved to death. Okay, they hacked her to pieces in front of you. Okay, now feel the shock and awe. Feel the shock and awe, the disturbance, the loss, the pain, everything negative that you can possibly imagine, which is rightfully so. Okay, it is the same feeling for people who dealt with this sort of bullying, who dealt with, that's the kind of feeling it is. Okay, so I should have never been back over there at Rex Laverne's place. Okay, now, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I do not have any intuitive messages, but I do think this time that I have off is a good time for me to get a little bit more delved into my projects. And then I have been thinking about how I'm going to be marketing myself and what I'm going to be doing in my next steps. But right now, I don't want to think about that. A lot of the things that happen around my daily life, like, I'm working on these projects that relate to the workplace and also working to autodidacts, right? All of those. And I'm going to be talking about morals and ethics and law and psychology in these, right? So I'm looking forward to that, right? Some of the information that's in there is going to be modified, well, created. Like for example, what I'm talking about when in education, I'm going to be using kind of the same format, and then kind of modifying it a little bit more for the workplace as well. But I'm looking forward to that. But it's very time consuming. You know what I mean? And this gives me the time to do it. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I do appreciate my new subscribers. Thank you very much. This has been a very, very hard time for me. A very hard time for me. And I hope that I will not have to go down the chain of trauma anymore. Okay? I want you guys to think about how many videos I've made over, I think over 1,600, maybe even a little bit more than that. And I've said I was traumatized at Murray Family Farms. I was traumatized when they did that. I was traumatized. The whole thing. Okay? So one thing kept leading to another, and it was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't take it. This person's doing this to me. This person's doing this to me. I can't believe this happened to me. Everything was bad. And then the very last thing to find out was that I finally find a decent job, but it's the guy who was doing the whole thing in the first place. And it has a sexual alert to it. To me, it does. Okay, anytime you talk about marriage, if you're trying legally, if you're trying to lure somebody for a marriage partner, that's considered sex trafficking. Yes, it is. Okay, so there's a lot of things that when it comes to education. This is one of the reasons. This is what. Now, I'm not saying that a bachelor's degree. I don't believe a bachelor's degree is really necessary to do the kind of work I do. Not in an office. I don't believe it. But I do know colleges love that. They love to make that money. But I will say that the reason why a lot of employers are interested in people who have a psychology background is because of issues like this. People have worked in workplaces, they've experienced, God knows I've been doing workplace research for a long time, okay? And I would consider myself to be a social scientist of the workplace and a lot of other environments as well, okay? But what a lot of the employers like that I've experienced here, and you know what, I understand, I'm not trying to to bash them, but a lot of people don't understand. They're used to their family home businesses, and I get that. Okay, and I'm not trying to balk or complain or anything like that. And I understand I'm also a minority in this issue. Like I'm also black, I'm a woman, and all this other stuff. Okay, but I've heard of other, people who've been abused in the workplace, or somebody who's unfairly terminated for whatever reason, whether it's religion, black, white, whatever, just things that they really shouldn't have been, or been bullied, or maybe they have a bullying boss or the narcissist. This sort of stuff goes on, but I've noticed that a lot of the things, the skills that should be applied in a lot of the businesses really aren't. Okay, but back to my point. My point is that when it comes to people or employers that look for people who understand psychology, is because they are trying to find somebody who knows how to deal and understand and work with people. Work with customers, work with external people, work with internal people, like people in your company. Okay, because a lot of times we say things, we don't think about it, but it's the way that we say them that people can take it wrong. You know what I mean? You might say something and you don't mean to say it that way, but somebody might perceive it that way. Just like, if there's an issue or I have a concern with, let's just say there was like a bunch of things that were generated in a system, like an accounting system, right? And I bring it up to somebody's attention. I say, Margaret, I have an issue. I have an issue with this particular thing, right? Some people, when they hear the word issue and you come up to them like that, they automatically start getting offended. Like, it's better to use the word, I'm a little concerned about that. Or kind of play it down a little bit. It's not that, it's the way things sound. Now, some people think, well, gosh, you have to walk around and be sensitive to everybody. I understand how people feel about this, okay? But, being able to communicate with people is key. Some people take offense to stuff that seems minor, but it's the way it's the tone, it's the way it sounds, it's how it was done. There is a science to interacting with people. There is. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of companies fail, or when they fail is because the interactions like, dealing with employee conflict and stuff like that. It either gets brushed on the table where things start festering. People, the anger because the issue has not been resolved. The anger starts to fester. There's resentments, and things get really toxic. And we have these unqualified managers who don't know how to deal with it. We also have unqualified managers who think it's okay to contribute or raise that sort of hatred and tension in the office. And I know a lot of insecure people. Okay, especially when they're trying to fit in with the rest of the group, they often use bullying tactics. To the us versus them type tactics. To be like, hey, look at me, I'm winning, and I'm the leader. So not everybody knows how to lead. It is what it is. So anyway, I want this to be put to rest. Now, I will say, if I, working for another employer about the camera thing, okay, here's what I want. I want to work in an environment where it's similar to what I was dealing with. Like I had the little space to myself. I'm okay. I like organizing things. I like working in accounting. I like, I'm a general office type girl. I'm really fun with that. But it would be nice if I could understand the processes that they're doing in the office. The reason why is because I do appreciate efficiency. I do appreciate, and I do think it has a direct result in the morale as well as the ability to generate revenue. So I don't mind being a part of those things, okay? But so yeah, I'm open. I'm open to it. You know what I mean? I'm open to a lot of different things, okay? But right now, I just kind of want to work on my projects and also set the standard as to me not having to encounter those sort of things anymore. Now I understand, like I might work for an employer who might know somebody of somebody of somebody of somebody. I get that, okay. If a surveillance, I do believe it is legal to have a surveillance. That's what we were talking about. It is because I kept telling her, I said, well, you have to have a surveillance camera to protect your business, right? It makes sense, right? So yeah, I think you can have a surveillance camera. But I was talking about surveillance cameras that were like right on you. Okay? Like right in your face, honing in on you. Now, I will say if an employer hires me and there's groups of people that want to see the spooky phenomenon, I fully understand that. If it's off to the side or whatever, I guess it is what it is, okay? Because truth be told, I'd want to see it too. I'd want to see it. I would be like, I want to see it. Okay. But I know now. I know. See, when you don't know, that's when you're being exploited. Okay. Now I know. There's a difference there. So anyway, wrapping this one up, y'all. And I hope you guys have a good evening. And I do think that it's better that I not work there. Okay. Oh, I also want to bring up another point about remember that one singer? Her name was Selena. She was a Mexican singer. Okay, she had a. Why am I bringing this up? Why is this in my mind? I think it's because she had her boss, her manager, was kind of like kind of a stalker. I mean, she kind of, gave off those vibes of somebody who, and this is based off what people said about her before she actually ended up killing her, right? And so my thought that came through my mind is that, that I felt uncomfortable being at working where I was just right now, like my last place, is because to me, if you're willing to traffic a person, what wouldn't you do? You know what I mean? So, if you're somebody who was relying on me or you were trying to, make me some sort of commodity, I kept thinking, who knows what this person can do? If he was angry at me for whatever reason, who's to say he couldn't just kill me if he wanted to? See, this is why I'm saying, you need to remove yourself from that situation. This is why I kept thinking, why in the world are they putting you right back there? Okay. Use your head. Use your head when it comes to things that, trafficking and the sort of people. You know, I don't want to be put in the situation of people who are looking for a wife or anything like that. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Okay. Now, you know, I'm very serious about my work and I'm looking for something that I can enjoy, and I don't want to have to worry about that. You know, I've been through trauma. I've been through it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And it's like you think that once you deal with all this trauma, you're gonna like finally get to something that's worth it. It just kept getting more and more trauma, and then when you unravel it, and here's like this Rex Laverne person, it's like, oh, dude, this is not good. This is not good. No more, no more. I don't want any more surprises. No more surprises. But anyway, I will be reaching out to some of these celebrity people because I've been like wondering about these guys for a while, and I haven't really communicated with any of them because I was very weirded out about the whole stalking thing. You know what I mean? I wasn't comfortable with the what was going on. You know what I mean? But anyway, bye.